When drawing out a four-centered arch, there are almost endless possibilities for locating the four centers. Here are the steps for drawing a common example with pleasing proportions. Start with the spring line and divide it into four equal parts. The center points for the smaller outer arcs are located at these 2 points and have a radius equal to a quarter of the spring line's length. Place the pivot point of the trammel on the center point and slide the marking point out to the end point to set the radius. Draw a quarter arc and then move the trammel's pivot point to the other center and draw another quarter arc. The next step is to place the trammel's pivot point on one of the first 2 centers and readjust the marking point to the distance between centers 1 and 2. Next, swing the trammel below the spring line and make a small mark below the midpoint. Move the trammel to the other center and repeat. Now, draw guidelines perpendicular to the spring line extending below centers 1 and 2. Using a straight edge, connect the intersection point at the bottom to centers 1 and 2, extending the lines so they cross the perpendicular guidelines at the bottom and the small arc segments at the top. The intersection between these lines and the perpendicular guidelines are centers 3 and 4. The required radius is the distance from the lower centers to the intersection of the smaller arc. This intersection is the tangent point where the smaller and larger arcs touch. Place the pivot point of the trammel on the third center and slide the marking point out to the tangent point and swing an arc across the top. Move the pivot point of the trammel over to center 4 and draw an arc to close off the top of the arch.